All right, everyone. It's Friday and another Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easy Way.
And welcome to our show. I don't know about you, Alan, but it's been just an awesome week. And I'm excited that it's Friday, and I think a little disappointed because things have been really clicking this week, and I want to keep the momentum going. So I think we're going to be able to do that with today's show.
Today's show is going to be great. Something we've never done before. Some of it was a surprise on what we're doing a live print. They weren't telling us what the print was. Then little tidbits started flowing in through the week. And even as of last night, he said they made some changes. So it's going to be a cool thing.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yep. So here's what we need from you guys. First off, can you just leave us a comment and let us know where you are, say hello, where you're watching from, and if you could do us a huge favor and share that you're watching, that would really be great. We're trying desperately to grow our audience and get more people into the fun. And today we're going to be live printing from GSG and on the new M&R Cobra. So Mark from GSG is going to be showing all that. We're going to bring him on in a minute. It's going to be stuff I think a lot of people that you know might want to see. So if you could please share our this episode that it's live, that would be a tremendous help for us.
And it's just not going to be a cool print. There's 11 techniques. There's special effects.
Don't spoil it, Alan.
It's going to be great.
It's top secret.
Forget all that.
Yeah. So let's say good morning to some folks. So Josh is watching. Good morning. Hey,
Morning,
Josh. Ghost is watching from Sweden. Good morning. Jeremy Duncan's watching from Clearwater, Florida.
Love Clearwater, Florida. Gorgeous there.
Dave Eggers says hello, gentlemen.
Hey, Dave.
I don't think he knows us well.
From Chicago. Yep. I know Dave very well.
Well, he called us gentlemen. Simon Clifford says good morning, guys. He's walking. Cindy says good morning from Odessa, Texas. Sounds like a great show. It's going to be. Dan's watching from England.
Mr. Dan Solomon.
Broadband, but want to hear to say hello. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you.
Hope you guys are getting settled there in the UK. So
very excited for his next adventure.
Absolutely.
Shane says good morning. Brian says good morning. Dominic says hello. Oh, actually, this is Sandy from Screen Tech Imaging Solutions in Michigan.
Who this is, let me make some people may know. This is Dominic A. Sheravino. It's Dominic Anthony. This is Dominic Jr. So many people.
It's Sandy.
Well, Sandy is his sister, his daughter. And the reason I'm saying that, many people in the industry know Dominic. Dominic passed away last year. He was a mainstay in the screen printing industry up here in the Midwest. So we were talking. Thanks for Screen Tech's out of Detroit. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Great. And then Peter says greetings from M&R from Roselle, Illinois. Looking forward to a great show, and I'm sharing and caring. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate you, pal. Mario says hello from Slovenia. Mark knows where. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name. Look, maybe I will. It's Fleetersek. Did I get it right? I'm sure I butchered it.
I've not been to Slovenia. I've been to Slovakia.
Yeah, Richard's here. Good morning, Richard.
Yep.
And we're going to sneak 2-second lean in here sometime soon.
We have to.
Mike's here. Good morning from California, and watching today while waiting for our 6 minutes on Today Show. Yeah, about your movie. Pretty exciting. Hey, share that link, Mike, so everybody can watch you with your mom. So that would be really fun. And then 50% close. Thanks for the. At least I tried.
You got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so what's going on with you, Alan? What are you up to?
I have been traveling as usual. I was actually down in Indiana, in Indianapolis last week. Next week is the GPX Indianapolis show. Easy Way will be there. Graphic Solutions will be there. You want free passes? Come. It's going to be fun to see everybody. I'm excited. But Marshall, you said it's been a busy week. It's been going nuts. It's almost like, I think about last year at this time, we were talking about how people keeping their doors open, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. We don't know where it is. And now we're like, how do we keep up? There's always other obstacles of raw materials and sourcing garments and stuff. But right now, if you're not busy, you need to call Marshall because something needs to be looked at. It should be.
I was just looking at my calendar this week. So I've averaged talking with 7 shops a day this week. A couple of days it was 12, and today I'm only got like 4 scheduled calls with shops. So, but what's really fun is everybody's exploding. Everybody's trying to find an employee or two, and that's like the common thing. And then everybody's really kind of, what they're worried about more than anything is dropping stuff, right? It's their workflow, it's their order system, what's going on. I was just talking with a shop the other day that they just hired their first employee, Alan. And,
that's awesome.
What do we need to do?
The fact that they found an employee is great.
That was that whole conversation is what you need to do. And so it's really kind of fun. So everybody, I think, is really excited about this year. I know I am. And it's fun is the fact that we've got 6 months left.
Yeah.
So which is exciting. And if you think about it, it's a little daunting. You only have 6 months left, right? So what are you doing right now to maximize these 6 months? Right?
Less than 6 months. We're halfway through the month.
Yeah. What happened the previous 6 months doesn't matter anymore. What are you going to do on purpose for the next 6 months? I think that's going to be really exciting.
I want to share too. I actually got to see one of my friends. I've known him since 6th grade. We grew up together. He lives in Indianapolis, and we went to his son's house for a barbecue. They had us over, and Sam just got married. I couldn't be at the wedding. It's when I was sick with COVID, but we're there talking, and all of a sudden he just looks at me and goes, "So how's your podcast going?" And I'm like, "You know about that?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I see the advertisements." And he goes, "I've actually listened to it 2 or 3 times." Yeah, and he's in finance. His dad, of course, we're still like 6th graders making fun of me. "Oh, you're somebody with a podcast." And Sam looks at me and goes, "Dad, they have a paid sponsor for him." He goes, "He's killing it out there."
Yeah, right.
So it was awesome. So I told Sam, keep listening, share it over. So that was good to hear.
That's great. So Mike shared the link. Mm-hmm. So let me introduce you to a thing, Mike. It's called Bitly.
Yeah.
Bitly allows you to shorten URL links. So, but thanks for sharing.
Hold on, I'm writing that down.
Okay. And then Cindy says, "Hey, what movie did you just mention?" Mike, I can't remember the name of your show, and it's I don't want to butcher it. So can you drop that in there so somebody can Google it?
Yep.
That would be great. Mike says, "We were very slow, and now we're slammed and can't hire enough people right now. And we might be acquiring another shop because we will get their staff." Right. So that's pretty exciting. Excuse me. That's pretty exciting. Dan says, "You guys are stars." Right. Oh, Mike says it's not. He shared the link. Here you go. This is way better. It's not a burden.com. Right. So Cindy, that's what we were talking about. So I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to. So just to support my buddy Mike. So very excited about it.
Marshall, we got one other thing because I was at a shop in Indianapolis, and I told you we walked in, and this is a company called Silly Pint, and they print silicone drinkware.
Yeah.
And silicone drinkware with a catalyzed silicone ink on drinkware. And so I walk in, and I know the guy printing it. I've not been to this shop and knew him previous life. He goes, "Hold on, come in the office," and he hands me 2 of these boxes. And in it, he had printed up. He was going to mail them to you and I, but since I was there, I get to send you yours. are all kinds of silicone drinkware, which I thought was pretty cool.
With our logo on it.
With our logo and GSG's logo on it. So we have cool things right here. A promo thing, Q&A with Alan and Marshall, GSG, a couple different variations of them. A silicone lid on it. Then the cool things, I thought, these little shot glasses called, they don't call them shot glasses because that would be almost like you're an alcoholic, day drinkers.
Yeah.
And cool.
Those are called shot glasses in my house.
He told me, Rob Markcroft told me, he said, what you do is these are for golfing. You take them, and then if you look, they're like a golf tee. He goes, you can set them up, use them as a golf tee. I was cracking up.
Yeah. That looks like it would be really teed up too high for me.
Exactly. And then it's this.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool. So I'll be sending Marshalls out to them.
Yeah, great. I can't wait. And Dan says it's the only way to print silicone molded parts, and they're indestructible. Still have mine from the Nashville Marathon.
Didn't you say, Marshall, that Tom Rowan got these for
his brewery? Yeah, I have one downstairs for it's a Dimension Brewery, right? So,
right. So
and Cindy says that, wow, y'all are special.
Yes,
we are special, Cindy. So anyway, so if you want to learn more about that, here's the address.
Silly Pine. It was a real cool operation. We see a lot of stuff, a lot of the same old printing. So I was really enjoying it, watching it.
Right.
A different silicone ink. Never heard of the brand before. I'm going to send the product down to just see how we can help clean it better. So
yeah. All right. Well, cool. Well, hey, I think it's time for a word from our sponsor.
Let's do it.
Which is your cue, Mark, to find your chair.
Yeah.
So let me get that movie going, and we'll be right back. All right. Looks like our technology worked.
For once.
So how you doing today, Mark?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you guys doing?
And let everybody know where you are and what we're doing today.
I am in Graphic Solutions, our main headquarters here in Dallas, Texas, in our R&D room, where it's basically the toy box for screen printers. Latest, greatest equipment, all the ink, anything you could ask for, we have right here.
And what is that thing behind you? What is that?
This is the M&R Cobra. This is machine number 8. We were fortunate to get one of the first ones. We've had it here for quite some time, and I do a lot of R&D, a lot of benchmarking, a lot of testing on it. We shoot all of our YouTube videos right here in this lab. And it's just, wow, it's an amazing press. I'm very fortunate to have it here. I love it.
And
it's everything they always should have done.
Yeah, they come out in a couple different models and sizes. So what is the one we're going to see today?
This is the 8-color 10 station. So it's going to be, everything is the same as all the other Cobra machines. The only difference is this one does not have the head supports on it. It doesn't need it because it's a smaller press. And the reason we have the 810 is because it's what I can fit in this room. So if we had a bigger press, we'd be losing some print heads because we wouldn't be able to access them.
And what is, do you know offhand? I know we didn't prep for this, but you know what the diameter of that is? This square?
Yeah, it's just under 17 feet.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about your shop, maybe you want to upgrade to an auto. Right. This is something that maybe could fit because of that footprint.
Yeah, we could throw a tape measure on it if you want real quick.
Yeah.
Well, I would rather get to the print, but maybe that's something to do later.
Sure.
So you've had it for a couple months. What do you like about it the most?
I've done a couple of videos on the machine, and to me, it's the press that I feel I call it the about time press. It's about time that M&R did it.
Yeah.
The features on the press, the micro registrations, they got rid of the manual screen holder, so it's pneumatic now. It has idle mode. So the other like 3 series presses, you actually have to turn a button to actually index the machine when you're setting up. This has free spin, right, so you can just spin it like, a Sportsman or another press. In my, hate to say it, over 40 years of screen printing, this machine sets up faster than anything I've seen. I don't know if it's because of the pneumatic screen holders, using the tri-sync and, with the tri-lock, it just sets up fast. This job that we're set up to run today, which is 7 screens, didn't even have to use micro registration. It's just in every time. It's very impressive.
And you guys have a CTS unit there, right?
No, I do not. I'm still using the film and the carrier sheets.
Okay, so you use film and carrier sheets on your screens and didn't have to use micros to register.
No. Nope. It's just a tool. If you use it correctly, it works every time.
Okay, that's interesting. And I think we're going to do a little experiment later. So
sure, absolutely.
So why don't we talk about the print that you're going to do, and then we can kind of you can kind of show us some stuff, right? So let's just get into the nuts and bolts about what you're actually going to show today.
Well, I had to get my notes, which is my formula for this print. This print is going to be 7 colors, and we're running Wilflex specialty bases with it. So we did combinations, and the combinations are as follows. The products we used were cork base, blush base, suede base, fashion soft base, high density clear, crystallina shimmer. We used a silver shimmer flake, excite yellow, which is the glow in the dark. And then for the end result, we have 3 different holographic foils.
Wow. That sounds like a disco party on a shirt.
I don't know if I'd wear it to a rave or not, but it's pretty cool. Hey, I'm printing your guys' faces. What more could I do with it?
I'm a little scared of that. We've always said we have the face for radio. I'm not sure we have a face for it to be on a T-shirt.
Well, as long I'm okay with it, as long as it's not like boxer shorts or something. I think
no, it's neck up, so you're good.
So for somebody who doesn't do a lot of specialty prints, right?
Okay.
Do you have one already printed?
Yeah.
Why don't we go through like rock base and cork base, and just why are you using these? What is special about it? Because and then also, I think we need to give a shout out to who did the SEPs.
Yeah, like this. Well, that's the shirt here.
Right.
So, we got Zoom going. There we go. Sorry, I'm backwards. So there's just a lot going on with it. When we talked about doing this and go ahead and do some live printing, I reached out to a couple people that to do the separations, and our good friend Nick Wood stepped up to the challenge. And if you all know Nick, Nick called me. He's like, dude, I want to do this. Let's make it work. And he turned it around. His company, Graphic Source, Robert Patello down in Honduras, did the separations, had them back to me in a matter of few hours. And all I did was rip them, print them out, put them on screen, and register the job. It was flawless. It was perfect. They did a stand-up amazing job with it. And
you didn't have to adjust any of the plates, right?
No, nothing. It was good to go.
Would that also be, Mark, because when you in your rip though, you probably have all your curves and linears set up?
Sure.
Correct? Yeah. Nick and I were talking last night, 2 nights ago, I'm sorry, on the phone, and we were talking about the curves and linearization of that's the one variable in clients that sometimes they don't have their rip linearized.
No.
What rip are you using, Mark?
This is AccuRip. Now, don't get into all kinds of technical art stuff with me, because I have people that do it. I don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I can print it.
we'll just step over that.
Right. I'm the same way. I just said everything I know about art.
Right. So, all right. So let's get into the inks and stuff. So, why are you using the different types of inks, and what are they going to do? Before we see it print, let's talk about the goal.
My goal was to see how many bases I could put on, your guys' logo. My years of doing R&D, and even when I was the applications engineer at Wilflex, I just am very fortunate. My career has led me into, I play with ink a lot. And, take, say, plush base, for example. You know what it looks like on its own. It has that nice velvety feel to it. Well, what would happen if I mixed it with HD clear, or if I mixed it with cork base? Another thing is any of these bases, whether it's cork, suede, which we'll see on this shirt, is running it through a variety of meshes. The standards kind of people will run through 110s, 156. Well, see what it looks like from an 83 up to a 305. And it just gives you a different print technique. It gives you a different feel. It gives you different levels of elevation. For example, the background of this shirt that make, the halftones that make up the pattern, I have plush base in there. And the reason I have plush base in the cyan is now the background has some dimension to it. It has some texture. And it's just, it's kind of a wow factor where it makes the shirt softer. I'm running Fashion Soft base in the underbase is Wilflex Epic Sprint White with 40% Fashion Soft. I'm running my underbase through a 255 mesh screen. I prefer, underbases for me. I tend to not dip below 230 mesh. It just gives you a nice soft hand feel. And again, it has to do with your pressure, your squeegee speed, what thermometer you're using, your angle. So, I literally made these screens yesterday morning, and at noon we had a shirt, and it was everything that I wanted it to be. And then I was telling Alan, then last night, I'm like, wow, it'd be kind of cool if we put glow in the dark in it too, just to pop it a little bit more.
Yeah, because why not?
Sure.
Yeah. The bucket's on the shelf, might as well use it.
So let's back up a minute. So you like to use 255 for your underbase. Yeah. If you weren't using halftones, is that still applicable?
Sure. Even like my solid underbases, I'll 230 range screen is typically what I use.
Okay, because I know right now there's people going, wait a minute, I use a 110. I use a 150.
Yeah. Right. Some of the reasons why it's going to be your parameters. It's how the press is set up. And you have to keep in mind, if you're using a 110, you're putting a heavy deposit down. Most of the time, you're going to use 2 print strokes to clear that screen. And that thicker ink deposit is going to be a higher flash temperature, higher flash time. It's going to slow your production down. With a higher mesh screen and the right parameter, you're shearing that ink off, you're laying it, you're getting that 2-second flash, and you're just increasing how many dozens you're doing an hour.
So this is all about production speed. So this is optimized for highest efficiency by going up in mesh count, right? And also, do you know your I can't see from what you got there. Are you using rollers, or what's your screen tension on this?
I'm using just typical glue and stretch rigid aluminum frames, and my screen tension on these. Luckily, nobody from Stretch Devices is hopefully listening right now. I'm right about that 20 newtons.
Okay, so it's not crazy. So your underbase screen. Yeah, sorry, Mark. Your underbase screen is a 255, right? Isn't that what you said?
Correct. Yes.
With and 20 newtons.
Correct. But all the screens are 20 newtons. Where you run into issues if you have one screen that's 25 newtons and one that's 17 newtons. There's where you run into registration issues, or the peel behind the squeegee.
Right. Okay. And so is it typical to have this many special effect inks on a design? And like, I know you're just playing around with it, but normally it's just like people just use one.
Yeah, normally you're going to use 1 or 2. It depends. what you want to achieve. Like with this job, when you see it run, we have our underbase, we have flash, and then the remaining 6 colors are all wet on wet. So there's not multiple flashes. We're not running in revolver. I just did it to show, there's no limitations when it comes to this. And it just comes down to, doing some R&D, doing some test printing. And, a lot of the customers I talk to, especially with, special effects printing or even my special effects classes, is they kind of shy away from it, not because they're afraid, because they just don't know how to use it. And it's just, if you get the products in, there's no right way or wrong way. It's just put it on press and see what the results are.
Get your hands dirty.
Yeah, that's really it. I wear gloves, so the hands dirty thing has gone away. But
well,
like the high density clear that we're using on this, it's high density clear, and it's got the Crystallina shimmer mixed into it. Then it has some silver flake, and then I have Excite Yellow, which is the phosphorescent powder mixed into it also. And it's printing through about a 400 micron screen, which is a Kiwo thick coat, so it's not capillary film. The screen's coated 2 times on the substrate side, and then it's coated 18 times on the inside. So all wet on wet. The humidity here in Dallas, it did take 2 days for it to dry, but it yielded a fantastic stencil.
And so how many microns do you think that is for that gasket?
I measured it. It's like 426.
Okay.
So it's where I wanted.
So it's a big stack.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's thick.
Okay, great. Oh, we got some comments. So Bruce says it's hot in Arizona. Bruce, not yet. It will be next week. 118, they're thinking. Good thing I have air conditioning.
Yeah.
Cindy says, I was going to tell my husband to watch the show, but not now. He would be wanting to upgrade our automatic. Sounds like an awesome machine. Cindy, I think that's the reason why we're on here with the press, is so they can sell you something.
Cindy, that knock on the door is a GSG rep wanting to talk to your husband right now.
And by the way, she wants one of those shirts to match the mask that we sent her.
So at Irving, the show in Irving, Mark Ramberg got one of our masks. He goes, I'm going to send this to Cindy. I go, absolutely. So, yeah.
And then Greg's here, says, gentlemen.
Mr. Kitson.
And then Davis is here. Hey, guys.
Out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, Mark, can we see this awesome press running with some stuff?
Well, let's go ahead and preheat the pallets. Cool thing with the Cobra is you can't see it. If you hit idle mode, it shuts all the heads off. And then we can go ahead and preheat our boards. Once flash is up to temperature, which is going to be just 1 revolution, we'll go ahead and switch cameras and you can see it print.
Yeah, and Ruben commented that he wants to see the shirt. So we're going to see the shirt here in a minute, okay? Hang tight. Maybe while we're waiting on everything to heat up, you could like hold the shirt up close to the camera, Mark. Hey, it's great. Mark's just going to do what we want. Hey, can you dance a little bit too?
I know. I feel like
you're not getting that. Dude.
I feel like we have a stick going, dance monkey, just poking.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'd be a little scared if somebody was walking down the street wearing this and your mask, drinking something out of one of your cups.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And then
but there it is.
Lon Winters came up to us. I had the mask and he goes, I'm a little concerned about Alan's face being covered with Alan's face.
So with the shirt, you can see obviously where the foil is, and the foil is on the GSG, and the Q&A width is going to be the high density screen. Allen and Marshall is suede base. The cyan is going to be plush and cork base, and then the magenta itself is plush and suede combination. And then the glow in the dark is in the high density. So when the lights are out, the Q&A width and the GSG lights up. And then there's little shimmer particles. They're not shown up on the camera in the entire design. So it's Marshall and Allen pretty blingy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is so unlike us.
I'm just not blingy at all.
Yeah. So that's just fantastic. And,
all right, we're ready.
Okay.
So hit idle again, turn all my print heads back on, print start.
And what's the first screen, Mark? Got your underbase.
The first screen is going to be a Sprint White and Fashion Soft. It's with printed with a 60-90-60 durometer squeegee. We're right at about 40 PSI. We're going to flash. We have no cool down because of my thin deposit. We're not going to get any buildup under the screens. The gray is going to be cool gray number 10 with 30% Fashion Soft base, a 70-90-70 durometer squeegee, and it's about 30 PSI. Then we have our cyan, which is the suede plush combination going into our gold, our magenta, our navy blue, and then finished up in the last print head with our high density clear crystallina glow in the dark kind of combination. So you can see it's all printing wet on wet. I'll go ahead and we're going to do the foil at the end. Yes.
So we're running the specialty print, and there's only one flash with no cool down.
Correct.
All right. So for those of you watching right now, think about how you do that in your shop, where you have to have multiple flashes with cool down. Your dwell time on your flash is like 5 seconds or something, right? Look how much faster this is going to run than what you guys do.
And Marshall too, I think it's a great tool for a press, but Mark, chime in. I think that revolver mode is one of the most overused functions ever.
It is. In my opinion, revolver mode should be an option if you want it, because I see it overused, and your pallets get too hot. You just run into issues using it. I know there's cases you have to use it, but I prefer never to run revolver.
When I see an underbase like you're doing on a 255 230 mesh, no revolver mode, that tells me right there, people, it's about doing the right things the right way.
And by myself doing this, it's running 422 pieces an hour. So that's not bad production rate.
No, not at all.
We'll go ahead and we're going to go and do the foil. When my assistant catches up with me.
We need to give a shout out. His assistant is Daniel, who he was great in Irving when we were there too.
How we're doing the foil is just using the old scrap foil, put it on top.
And you want to do that while it's hot, right?
You do it while it's hot, while the HD is tacky. And then we'll throw a little gold on with it. And then finally, we'll do the holographic silver. To kind of pull out the lettering.
Everybody who thinks foil is tough, right here.
And after that's on, there's the shirt.
And will the foil come off, Mark? Do you have to heat press it, or any other application step?
No, the high density clear, is so tacky and hot when it comes out of the dryer. I have dozens and dozens of shirts. And I think Lon Winters will back me up on this, because this is a technique he does frequently at the trade shows. I've washed them dozens of times, and I've never lost any foil off of it, and it hasn't dulled down. It just grabs it. And the foil I'm using is A Magic from Kevin out in California. I'm fortunate enough. I asked for foil. He sends me like 400 rolls. So I have foil for weeks and weeks.
Forever.
Yep.
And So that was pretty good. And let me ask you this question, because I think it's just the funniest question I can ask is, that press is really quiet. Why is it so quiet?
Well, I'm going to quote he may not know it, a mentor of mine over years, Mr. Peter Walsh from the M&R
Right.
companies. It's so quiet, gentlemen, because it doesn't make any noise.
Absolutely.
That kills me.
That was still the funniest moment.
So if you don't know why we're giggling, we did a live show at the Irving NBM show, Graphics Pro Expo. And we asked that question of Peter, and that was his answer. So
on live. It's so much better with the Australian accent.
Yeah.
And so serious when he says it too. It's great. Right. We were all just dying.
So here's a question. First off, got some comments, right? And Gosa says, wow, right? Which also stands for wet on wet, by the way.
Yes.
And Nick says, Mark is the man. Josh W is 2. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks,
Hey,
Nick.
Robert kicked ass with this SEP, by the way.
Yeah.
And then Michael Ortiz says, is the foil sticking only to the 80 clear?
Yes, it's only sticking to the high density clear. Because the high density clear is through that thick stencil, when you're tapping the foil on, it's not hitting any other inks. And also foil won't adhere to like the suede, the plush, and the cork unless it's heat pressed. And that's another reason why Fashion Soft and the other colors is because Fashion Soft, when you reduce the colors that way, it's not giving anything for the foil to stick to. I wouldn't recommend doing it with white ink per se, because you're going to lose your opacity if you reduce the white down so much. But right. White is one of the sticklers for grabbing foil.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think another thing that I don't know if you said it or not, but underneath the press arms on this press, they've built in LED lights. Which is a feature I think is just awesome, and I don't know who thought of that, but it was really awesome. It was really great. Talk about how easier it is to set up, Mark, using with the lights and everything.
Well, you can see without the light on, it's just you're gonna how do I want to say this? You're gonna go with just your overhead lighting, and with just overhead lighting, the print arm itself creates a shadow. So you're dealing with a shadow when you're trying to look through the screen and do your registration. Whereas with the built-in LED lights, you have a perfect platform. We could turn all the overhead lights off in this R&D room and still set up a job with just those.
Yeah. And I love it. And the other thing that I want to show is, now remember, you put this together with film, right? Yeah. And you use the tri-sync, right? I keep wanting to say Trilock. So can you take a screen completely out and lock it back in? And I want everybody to understand how easy it is to set up a job using that system. So remember, folks, this is live.
Why do I feel like I'm being thrown under the bus?
Let's get the stopwatch going on you. Hold on.
So what he's doing now is he's getting the Trilock palette, the tri-sync palette.
Right. I'm gonna start my stopwatch now, even though I should have started like a minute ago. So
well, what we'll do, so there's no kind of smoke and mirrors, is we'll unlock the underbase, because if that's out of register, you're gonna see it, and we'll unlock the last screen.
Okay.
So the screens are unlocked. We'll go ahead. We'll
tell me go, and I'll hit the timer.
Oh, go ahead, go.
All right, timer's going.
So screens are back in. We'll go ahead.
That was 28 seconds.
I'm getting slow in my old age. Throw our palette back on. Let's go ahead and preheat our flash. Put a shirt on. One more time. So our flash is back up to temperature. Print start.
What type of flash are you running there, Mark?
A red chili D quartz flash.
Heating the palettes right now.
Hey, Mark, Nick Wood wants to know where your accent is from.
I didn't know I had one, but
Pittsburgh.
I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've kind of lived everywhere, so it could be a combination of Pittsburgh, Ohio, Texas, Georgia.
Yeah.
It's a screen printing accent. It's from using Alan Howell's brand of screen opener all these years.
Yeah, that'll do it.
All right, one final hit. Here we go. All right. Now, remember, folks, if you're just joining us, Mark took the thing completely out and locked it in 28 seconds, and now it's completely back in register, and that's because of the system.
And if you would, well, I don't know if we can, but if you look at the underbase screen, it's a big square with the white. Mm-hmm. Even though there's half tones, but like the sides of your heads are solid and everything. Not you have solid heads. The sides that are solid, it would be out of register, and it's not. It's dead on.
Yeah. So for folks, I really kind of want to just like hit this really well, right? The Tri-Lock or Tri-Sync or any other, because there's other brands and stuff that have something similar. The reason this works so well isn't the CTS or the Tri-Lock. It's because the reason why you want it is because of faster production speeds. That's the reason why you pay the money. And even though these things are expensive, if you annualize that cost and how many minutes you're saving on setup, it's like a no-brainer. So Mark, can you talk about that a little bit? Because, you have a unique perspective.
Well, also like on our GSG YouTube channel, we set up a 5-color design.
Yep.
And it's video. It's live. We did a 5-color design in 1 minute and 48 seconds. So, I mean, you're setting up, I'll deal with shops that, say, oh, well, we allow 10 minutes per screen. Well, gosh, that's an hour, if you have 6 color. But 1 minute 48 is pretty quick. My last shop, we ran 16 automatic presses. We allowed 5 minutes per job for setup. If it was over 5 minutes, then you got one of the pod leaders to come help you out. And we didn't play around with trying to adjust it.
Alan, did you freeze up? Mark froze up?
No, I'm here.
Am I the only one that's talking?
Well,
what happens?
I don't know. Am I still here?
I've heard you're still here, Mark. I've heard everything.
So it looks like we've frozen up a little bit. I don't know if it's me or it's them or what's going on here.
Marshall, can you hear?
Remember, folks, we're live.
I think we're okay.
We're okay.
What
Mark,
do we
you
do?
can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Marshall, it's just you, buddy. It's just you, Marshall.
It's just me?
Yep. I can hear Mark.
It's now the Alan and Mark show.
Oh, well, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
So what's fun is, for me, it looked like you guys had the problem.
No, actually, Ghosted just said Everybody's fine.
Okay. So, well,
It's the heat.
did we answer the question? I have no idea what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Okay. Well, great. And everybody says that the sound's okay. So, all right. Well, cool. So I think remember, this is all about process. And I think process really drives the results. And I think having good tools really helps with that. Wouldn't you agree, Mark?
Well, good tools is one thing, but using them correctly is a whole nother matter.
Really?
You know, that's really what it comes down to. You know, that's putting it kind of blunt, but yeah, it's just, if you use your tools correctly, they work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
All right. So do we have any questions from you guys watching? I would really love to get that out if you've got questions.
I have one, Mark. What are the mixtures on your bases? You said there was a mixture of bases. What do you know what your mixtures are? Go get your sheet. Yeah.
Get my hieroglyphics out.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the underbase is the Fashion Soft and Sprint White. So it's 30% Fashion Soft into the Sprint White. The Q&A with the GSG, the high density is going to be the Wilflex High Density Clear 2. Has 20% of silver. They have Crystallina shimmer in it. It has 5% of shimmer particle 0.002.
Okay.
Then it has 10% of the Excite Yellow, which is the phosphorescent powder.
Right, the glow in the dark.
The red is going to be a 70-30% blend between suede base and plush base. And then I add into that 15% of the color. The blue is going to be the same thing, but that's going to have cork and suede and the same amount of blue added into it. And that's a 70-30. Then the gold, I have to turn my page sideways. The gold is a 60-40 suede and plush with 15% of super light gold added to it.
Mm-hmm.
Then the navy is going to have 35% plush base into standard ready for use Epic Navy Blue. And the gray is cool gray number 10, and it again has 30% of Fashion Soft mixed into it.
Okay, great. And you know these mixtures. I know because you just set it up and did it one because you've worked with them and tested them all over. You had an idea to start with, but I'm glad. Thank you for sharing that. My point was for people going, special effects are not hard. To use a product like this is just sit there and play with them. You can't break it.
No.
Get there, and play with it, running through different mesh counts, different amounts, and see what it does.
And if it doesn't work, clean out your screen and
do it again.
Go back to the mixing board.
Absolutely.
You know, because of my job and what I do is when I come up, people are like, well, why 30%? Why 40%? Well, I literally, this is the exciting part besides printing squares of ink, is I will take, say, Fashion Soft base. I'll add 5%, 10%, 15, 20, 25, 30, all the way up to like a 95% mixing ratio. And I will do side-by-side comparisons. Check the opacity, check the hand feel, then print them through different meshes. And again, check that all out and see what happens. And I do the same with like cork base and plush base, all of them. That's just, when people say, oh, your job is like a lot of fun, which it is. I mean, this is the best, this is the best house in the world right here. But, sometimes it gets repetitive when you have, you literally go through like 100 different formulas just to get the results. But we need those results. So when we have a customer or we have somebody says, they're trying to achieve, I'll throw Josh Wiley at IGG into it. Josh will be like, hey man, I got this job. I want to print Fashion Soft on this to get this certain feel. then I have the information that I can give him on what his, formula and his mixing ratio will be. And, that's why we do all of it. So,
Right.
we're here at GSG, we're much more than a distributor. We have the technical people that actually do a lot of this testing, whether it's the ink or chemicals. So we really like to be educated and know what we're talking about when, we're selling a product to somebody.
Yeah.
Right. And thank you, everyone, for being patient with my internet connection.
That is the best part. I've watched. I remember the first time I saw Lawn Winners do the foil technique that you did, and I just said, I've said it. I include your name in there here in the last few years that you guys have made special effects not scary.
Yeah, it's easy.
And if anybody wants to try these things, I would suggest pick one. Don't try to do a shirt just like that.
No.
But pick one. Get it, master it, and upscale your business, and then pick another one.
Well, and not just upscale your business, upscale your price.
Absolutely.
You just took a $8 t-shirt up to a $16 t-shirt, and I'm not going to pay. Well, the guy down the street can't do it. So you kind of put yourself out there that you can do these techniques. You can do the high density. You can do suedes, things like that. I work with customers that do printing for zoos, and we do I'll come up with formulations for like suede and plush. So when they're doing that giraffe on a shirt, it feels like a giraffe, like a little kid's line or something. So it sets you apart from your competition.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the name of the game, is differentiation.
I was going to use that word, but I couldn't get it out.
That's why we have Marshall.
Yeah. So Josh says, so much fun to do special effects. So thanks, Josh.
I also love that you're using Fashion Soft. When I was selling ink, I sold the same brand, Wilflex. Fashion Soft was my favorite product because you put 30% into your ink. And I always tell people, just don't throw it in the bucket. Take out the amount you're going to need, minus 30%, mix it in there, and, realize you're going to lose some opacity quite a bit, because that product actually goes into the fabric. So you're going to have a real softer product.
Well, especially if you're printing over seams or hems or something like that, it's going to dive in, so you don't get that plastisol buildup.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's just a great product. I love Fashion Soft.
Yeah, I always played a lot with curable reducer. That was my favorite little go-to tool.
Well, I actually, Mark, have you ever I've had people add, instead of don't add Fashion Soft to the ink. If they wanted almost a water-based feel, I would have them just take Fashion Soft and start adding color into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that will you'll have not a lot of opacity, but I'll get you a great soft.
Yeah. So if you're doing a Heather shirt and you want that chalkboard look, just mix that with some white, and then you'll have a no hand, and you'll be able to see the texture of the shirt underneath a little bit, and it looks great.
Yep. And Wilflex has a great line of specialties. I know. So, Mark, you guys sell international coatings too. They have a great line of specialties.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. The best way to do that and upscale your business and upscale your pricing is just play with them. Get some and play with them. Call GSG, call Mark, and say, help me out with this. Give me a starting point.
Yeah, and go to the grocery store and buy yourself a 69-cent notebook. And start writing the stuff down when you play with it. So a month from now, you can remember what percentage that you used. Another great tip is when you mix stuff in a bucket is to take one of your shipping labels and write out what you did and put it on the bucket, so you know what's in that bucket. So especially if you've got the formula on the label, then you can replicate it again.
Yeah.
Well, even with Wilflex's IMS, their mixing software, everybody uses it to make Pantone colors, but it manages inventory. And if you go in there, you can pick Fashion Soft base, cork base, high density clear, silver shimmer. Boom, that's now your base instead of like Epic mixing base or Amazing base.
Right.
So as Marshall just said, you print that label out. There's your formula. Put it on the bucket. You're good to go.
Now they have the whole mixing system for Aviant for all the products too. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Have they released the Apple version of that yet? Weren't they working on that?
It's
Yes.
on an app. It's on an app now. So yes.
It's out?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So
Yeah, I was gonna say it is. Yeah, you have it on your phone now,
oh,
which is
there you
really cool.
go. All right, cool. So what's coming up for you? What's coming up for GSG, Mark?
All kinds of things. I actually have to travel next week, but we have some pretty cool 4th of July videos we're doing next Tuesday. We're going to do a sparkly print, and we're actually going to have some sparklers involved with it. So
All right.
we have fire extinguishers here, so we're good. We'll see how that goes. We have Daniel and I have a list of videos. We have 32 special effects technique videos that we're working on. And, we try to get as many videos done as we can, but then, editing and going through and, every week just adding more to the YouTube channel and getting them out on social media. So I'm also open, I have customers and sales guys. Hey, why don't you do a video doing this? We want to see this. So if anybody has ideas or something you want to see, well, I'll gladly do it if it helps you out. Absolutely.
Right. So Ghosta has a great question. So do you always mix color, or do you trust the dealer to deliver spot on?
Wow. I'm the dealer
you
too.
are the dealer too. So yeah.
Well, he's in Sweden, Mark. So
yeah. Well, we have a color match department, and we make hundreds of gallons of color matches. I guess it depends on the dealer, how they're mixing it, what system they're using. But we do a tremendous amount of Pantone matches, and it's very rarely that we have an issue. And if we do have an issue, it's sometimes an updated formula issue or something like that. Right. But I mean, I will gladly come to Sweden and mix some colors for you. We could get that going.
Yeah,
we could do this show from Gustav's.
Live from Uppsala, Sweden. That would be incredible.
So if you aren't mixing your colors yourself, because not everybody's doing that, right? Mark, what do they need to be able to do that?
Well, there's a couple of different mixing systems out there. Of course, Wilflex that we sell. You have your pigment concentrates, which is just going to be straight pigment. You have to add to a base. Mm-hmm. You have equalizers, which are a pigment in a base. They also have your standard ready for use mixing system, which means you mix the colors. You don't have to add base or anything. And then they also have the Rio mixing system, which is the newest, which is, of course, the low cure line at the 275 degrees. And then International Coatings as well, has the same systems that Wilflex has, with their brand of ink. And, everybody has the software. So when you get the system, you download the software, you register, and you have it all at your fingertips, and it's all cloud-based. So, anytime that there's a new formula that comes up or there's an update, it's from the cloud, so it automatically updates on your system.
And you really need a really good scale.
You need a good scale.
Out the bucket weight and all that.
Yes. So you need 0.00, especially if you're using pigments, because you'll have formulas. I make, when I'm testing, I'll make like 250 grams, 300 grams, and I'll have something that requires like 1.1 gram. So you really need a dialed in scale. And like anything else is, if you go cheap to start with, you end up replacing it. So your best bet is to go with a good scale from the get-go.
Stainless steel.
Yes.
Easy cleanup. Yeah. And the other tip, if you're mixing ink, is to, now some pigments have, different viscosities, but I like to use condiment bottles instead of trying to do it with a putty knife or something. So you can just add one drop to, and that's an easy way of doing that, is to put the pigment in a condiment bottle, like a ketchup bottle, right?
Well,
with the tip.
You can always add more. It's hard to take it out.
Absolutely.
It is hard to take it out.
Yeah.
Yep. I also think too, if you're mixing colors, first thing is one, you got to have a good Pantone book. You have to know that the colors, what you're doing, and then your lighting also.
Absolutely.
Because,
And, and something else like the scale that I use, for example, with the Wilflex mixing system, my scale plugs into the computer. So when you're using the software, it actually shows you on the screen how it's tearing down, and it tells you if you're within tolerance to match that color. So it makes it
cool.
much more accurate.
What scale is that?
It's the Sartorius.
Sartorius, yeah.
Yeah, I can't see the model from here. Wrong glasses on.
And that's with a C?
S.
S.
What S? SART something.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the evolution scale.
Cool.
You know, again, they're over $1,000. They're not cheap, but
Right.
you know, neither is throwing away a gallon of ink that's mixed wrong.
Well, a gallon of ink is arguably somewhere between $30 and $55, maybe, depending on what color it is. So it adds up quickly.
It
And
does.
what happens, Mark, we've all been there where we've had to eyeball color. You need a quart, and you get so far off, and finally when you get it, you now have a gallon.
You have like 2 gallons of
that you'll
like
never
some
use again.
brown. Yeah. Or, you know, or the ink guy, you know, quit to get a better job at Whataburger or something. And all his formulas by eye were in his head. And now you're stuck with a color that you need and you don't know how to make it.
Yeah.
Right.
So Frank with S&S Activewear asked, does Vortex have anything for nylon?
And Vortex is GSG's house brand of ink.
Well, it not a nylon specific ink, but you know, you can add the catalyst to it and print on nylon.
You can add like Nylon or something.
Yeah, Nylon or a Hugger catalyst.
Right. International Coatings 900 catalyst. Yep.
All right. Well, hey guys, we're out of time. So Mark, everybody out there wants to know what's on the smoker this weekend.
Actually, I'm doing prime rib. So
no. Okay. Well,
you know,
what day is that?
Yeah.
That's good. That's going to be Sunday.
Okay.
I had gotten a huge prime rib a while back and had to cut it up because it was like 30 pounds. So we're throwing that on this Sunday. It's gonna be nice weather, no rain.
Yeah. Now I like prime rib. I like a nice horseradish sauce.
Absolutely.
Right? And
yes.
so are you? Here's the question: do you smoke the sauce a little bit to get that smoky flavor in the sauce?
You look at it this way: when the smoker's
my
rolling,
mouth is watering now just thinking of that.
You just add everything into it. You know,
Yeah.
You know, put the garlic in there. I'll do the vegetables. I'll do all of it.
Yeah.
Can't hurt, you know?
Yeah, I totally hear you. All right. So thank you so much for being on our show today. And huge shout out for GSG for sponsoring our show. Let's throw their website up there just because we can, right?
Hey, and Mark, real quick, what kind of shirt was that you were printing on? He doesn't know.
I don't know either.
He got them at Walmart last week.
Gildan hammer tees.
Okay.
Right. Is it hammer time?
Well, they're cool because they have a little hammer on the label. So, you know.
Okay, great. And all right. Well, great. Well, thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate you. We would love it if you would follow us on YouTube and subscribe. Also, please leave comments on YouTube and share and that kind of stuff. And if you have a minute and you like podcasts, we now have our whole show as a podcast. This is just the audio part, and you can find it at my bit.ly link here, which is atkinson.fyi/QA podcast.
And we're on most all of them right now. Spotify, almost a Stitcher, all of them. Apple still hasn't got it, but we are getting more and more people listening. So
yeah, Apple's, I don't know what's up with Apple. They won't do the thing, but we've applied. It's in balls in their court, Apple. Come on.
But hey, Spotify, we're on there. So
yeah. All right. So, hey, thanks everyone. Have a fantastic
Awesome.
weekend, and we'll see
Mark,
you next time.
Thanks a lot. Don't leave, Mark. Stay online.
Thank you very much. We'll see you guys.
Have a
See ya.
great week, everybody.